Welcome back to another episode of The Bottom Line, show dedicated to you, the point spread players. Frank and Adam are back with you again. I want to thank all the viewers tuning in and all the new viewers that are tuning in. Also want to thank everybody for all those emails. Believe me, we're reading them. We're like what we're hearing, and keep them coming. This week we're going to do a lot of different things. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about totals this week. We haven't done that too much this show as of late. But Adam's got something that he wants to rant about, kind of taking something from the viewers this week. Wants to talk about his, once again, one of his favorite topics, the touts and some of their plays they make every week.
Frank, thanks again, my friend. Guys, I always have done this in my life. I've given my little lectures, my little public service announcements. Usually I give them to Frank about his relationships, but I think now I am going to give them for you, the gamblers who are tempted to take the bad teams that are dogs. Because guess what, guys? Don't do it. And I'm going to tell you why. This part of the season, you don't know where these bad teams' heads are at. Okay, the Atlantas of the world, like last week they played the Saints, got killed. 49ers, it's Christmas season. You know what I mean? They could be decorating the tree. They're not there stunning all hours like the teams who need the games.
And how about a Falcons team with their coach that had one foot out the door that we didn't know about before the weekend came?
Either lay off or play the favorites. Please, just please don't take these dogs. Don't make Adam upset. Okay?
You don't want to make him upset.
Don't make me upset.
Do me a favor, don't make him upset, because I got to hear about it all the time.
Now listen, Frank, let's move into our second weekly segment of the week, the backdoor cover of the week, which is a pleasure for some and a pain for others. We're going to keep this clean. It's a family show. All right, Frank, get your head out of the gutter.
This is what we had two games we're going to look at here, and they're both totals. We said we haven't looked at totals yet this much so far on the show. We're going to look at two games. One would be the Redskins game. The other game is the Cowboys game. But first, Skins game, the Thursday night game. You're
if
looking
you
at
had
Skins,
the over here.
I mean, you're struggling in the first half. Skins Bears. You go all through the first half. Neither team can score. You got both quarterbacks get knocked out of the game. Halftime comes. It's 7-0.
You're reaching for the Mylanta at halftime, thinking there's no way this game's going over. But second half, fourth quarter especially, you're happy as a pig in slop.
I mean, if you look at this game from the first half compared to the second half, it looked like it was like the Patriots out there scoring points going up and down the field. I mean, you had Todd Collins looking like the second coming of Joe Theismann out there, just putting points up all over the place.
Frank, great point there. You have both starting quarterbacks out. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give credit to the Bears there at the end of the game, not trying to go for the touchdown, even though they needed 2 scores to win. They went for the field goal, and that's how the game went over.
You know what? I thought that watching the game, it was not only obviously a good decision from a gambling standpoint, I thought that was the good decision from the coaching standpoint there. Get your 3. You're not exactly close enough to keep pushing for the touchdown. You're in field goal range. You got long down and distance. Kick your field goal, and then you take your chance with the onside kick.
It was the right call.
I think it was the right kick.
And a happy outcome for our gamblers.
Definitely a happy outcome for all considered, unless you're a Bears fan. But that's all. You have other problems if you're a Bears fan.
Yes. We're now going to talk about the kid yourself game of the week. And what that means is basically, in your heart, you think the team's going to win, but in your head, it just ain't going to happen. You're going to lose. And the game that Frank's going to talk about is Jets-Browns. That is our kid yourself game of the week. Frank, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, the kid yourself game of the week, like we said, it's, Cleveland and New York in the Meadowlands. The Jets in this game at home getting 3.5 in some places. And really, it's a short line because Browns are on the road. But you're talking about an inferior Jets team going against a Cleveland team that's looking like a playoff team this year, sort of out of nowhere. Their offense really clicking with Derek Anderson and Braylon Edwards, Kellen Winslow, rejuvenated Jamal Lewis, turning back the clock to about 3-4 years ago. And in this football game, I mean, the game is sort of going along. It's kind of plodding along, not high scoring by any stretch. You get into the third quarter, Jets are down 11 in this football game. Not looking good if you had the Jets, which, both of us know some people who did. But then, sort of the momentum turns a little bit in the game, which is, happens all the time. And Jets put some points on the board, and actually they climbed to 17-15 get the ball back, get 17-12, excuse me, then get the ball back again, kick another field goal, get inside the number in this game at 17-15, and then I mean, at that point, you're not only kidding yourself, you're convinced that you're going to be inside the number.
You have a shot. Now, what happened is what the coach did here. Minute 43 left. He had timeouts. He should have kicked it long, but he went for an onside kick. Cleveland recovered, okay, and they only had to go 30 yards for an easy touchdown by Jamal Lewis.
And you know what? That touchdown actually was a lot easier than it should have been, and that sort of helps you if you had the Jets in this game.
Because then they can go for the backdoor cover to try to get it within 2.
However, in that situation, Cleveland is going to kick a field goal. Right. And you're not covering for a Jets fan.
Right. So what happened was Jets had a shot again, but again, now it's 24-15. You need a 2-score scenario, and unfortunately for the gambler and the people who had the Jets, they went for the 35-yarder. They didn't score the touchdown there, and you lost the game 24-18. We're now going to go to our weekly call-in segment where Buck from Bristol wants to talk about the most wonderful time of the year.
Please don't sing.
Buck, you're on the air, my friend. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm a big fan.
Thanks for coming on, Buck. What do you got going on this time of year? We got a little note from our producer that you wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming college bowl season starting in, I think, about 8 days.
You're right, Frank. Poinsettia Bowl.
Yeah, basically, I'm a Dr. Bob guy, have been for a while. And as you probably know, Dr. Bob really has had an off year in college. So my question for you guys is, do I stick with Bob for these bowl games, or do I see what's out there? I mean, should I jump ship? Should I have faith? I'm not sure what to do. We could use a little advice, which direction to go in.
I think it's I mean, obviously, it's a tough decision. It's why you're calling up. I think you really got to, spend some time over the next week or so. I mean, just thinking about, how long you've been with the guy. I don't know if this is your first season. You've been with Bob for a few years now. If you had been with him for a few years or have had some other people you used for a few years, it kind of comes and goes up and down. It's tough when you look at Bob, though. He has had a really tough season. He's had some, decent weeks, but overall, I mean, he's really struggled. My take sometimes on the bowl system is that with Bob, he goes with the math model. So taking out the week-to-week emotional, ups and downs of these college teams, perhaps his math model is a little bit more effective because it's less based on chance at this point of the year. Because you're not going to be able to get a feel for the mentality of these teams coming in.
Right.
Buck,
yes.
My advice to you is to look at your bankroll.
Right.
And figure out what you want to play, what you normally play for the ball season when Bob's doing good, and I would play it for half that.
Okay.
Just to be conservative. Now, if he has a good couple games before New Year's, right around Christmas, then you play the New Year's Day games in the National Championship big. Don't jump in. Don't be tempted to jump in all at once. See how he does early, and depending on that is how you do late.
Right. I just want to avoid getting langed. You know what I mean?
Right. We all do.
Right.
Buck, we want to thank you for calling in, and keep watching the show, and feel free to shoot us an email at info@thebottomlineshow.com, or give us a call back next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good luck, Buck.
Thanks a lot. Now, I think Adam's got some things. He's kind of looked ahead at the weekend slate coming up in the NFL, and may have some words of caution for the viewers out there.
Frank, getting back to my earlier discussion on the dogs. Guys, please, again, do not play the Chiefs this week. Do not play Atlanta this week. Do not play Oakland this week. Don't listen to against the spread statistical indicators, my lock of the week. Throw it out the window.
Stay away from the dogs. That is the advice coming from Adam. I'll just, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to ride in your back here. I'm going to second that. I'm going to second that bit of advice.
Guys, remember to keep those emails coming at info@thebottomlineshow.com.